Sanatana means eternal. Something that's eternal means something that's always true. When we say Sanatana Dharma, we are talking about that dimension of life which does not change, which is fundamental to our existence. No culture has looked at it with such profoundness as we have in this culture. So, if you had come here 100 years ago, you would be dressed differently. You wouldn't be making a cinema, maybe you would be growing mangoes in Andhra Pradesh. Where are you from? Krishna district?
Yes, Hyderabad.
Maybe you will be a farmer, maybe you will be something else, a fisherman or something. Same man, but you would be doing something else. If you came 1000 years ago, you would be doing something else. So what we are doing today, how you're dressed today, how you speak today, how you act today is a generational thing, it's of the times. This keeps changing. How tomorrow the next generation will act, how they will dress, what they will do, it'll be totally different from the way we are doing it right now. So this is one dimension of life. This we call as Smriti. Smriti literally translates as memory or from memory. Whatever you're doing right now, how you dress right now, is either just like your father or in reaction, never like your father, isn't it? But both by memory. So you have learned certain things by memory. This is Smriti. But there is Shruti, which can be interpreted in many different ways. One dimension of it is, it's the tune of life. This is not set by you, this is creation. Only if you understand the Shruti of life, then you can find a rhythm. This is what Bharata means. Bha means bhava or the experience of life. Ra means raga, which is the Shruti of life. Tha means tala. Bhava is what happens to you, it's an experience. But raga is already set, the Shruti is already set. Now it's for you to find the right rhythm for that, so that life happens beautifully like a wonderful music. If you don't find the rhythm, the same Shruti which facilitates life will crush you. So when we say Sanatana Dharma, we are talking about that dimension of life which does not change, which is fundamental to our existence.
Eternal.
It's fundamental. It is the basis of our existence. Well, how you dress, what's your profession, how do you deal with your family, how do you deal with your relationships, society, this is all transient. Every generation it's different, from person to person it's different. But the laws that govern my life also govern your life and every other life, whether it's a worm, insect, bird, animal or plant, all of them are ruled by that law, which is Sanatana Dharma. Fundamental laws which govern the existence. This must be understood clearly. When we talk about laws, we are not talking about penal code imposed by human beings upon each other for control and whatever, some semblance of sanity in the society. Because that law has to change from generation to generation. You see, there is so much fight going on about change this law, change that law. Every generation is fighting for it always. That's a different thing because that's a transactional law. When we talk about Sanatana Dharma, we are not talking about a transactional Dharma, we are talking about an existential Dharma. First of all, let us understand the word Dharma. Dharma means the law. Dharma does not mean religion. In this culture, we don't know what is religion, we don't have such things. We are only looking at what are the underlying laws for my life to happen in the best possible way, because we understand unless you stick to the law, your life cannot happen well. Because a law is not an imposition, a law is the basis, it's the foundation of the existence. If you figure this out well, then your life happens effortlessly because you know the laws or you're in tune with the laws. If you don't know, for no reason you suffer, simply. So Sanatana Dharma is that dimension. Does it belong to a Hindu or somebody else or an Indian person or some other person? That's not the point. This is what governs the existence. No culture has looked at it with such profoundness as we have in this culture. So because of that pride, we may say, this is Hindu Sanatana Dharma. But we are limiting the possibility of Sanatana Dharma by adding the word Hindu to it. If you understand, the word Hindu is a geographical identity. The land that lies between Himalayas and Indus-Sagara is Hindu. In that sense, if you're saying it, it's all right for pride, but it's not all right, it's not correct. Because Sanatana Dharma applies to every life, wherever they may be born or unborn. It applies even to unborn life and the life that is dead also. So Sanatana Dharma talks about how to handle the unborn, how to handle the born, how to handle the grown-up, how to handle different stages of life and how to handle the dead, all dimensions of life. But Smriti is something that every generation should reinvent or amendments need to happen. This is the only culture which has thought of things like this, that we understand social transactions have to evolve. Evolution does not necessarily mean we're doing something better than the previous generation. It is just that because situations are changing, we're evolving so that we fit into those situations. So situational transactions always have to evolve and change. So this culture allowed that. How you ate 100 years ago, today we can debate and say that's not the way we want to eat because my work habits have changed. When I was ploughing the land, I was eating that much of whatever. Today I'm just directing a movie, so I will only this much of this. So there is no law to say you have to eat like this, you have to fast like this, you have to do this, because these laws must be constantly amended. As India's constitution can be amended according to the changes needed for a particular generation. Similarly, but even in the constitution, there are a few fundamental rights and other things that you don't touch. You cannot call that Sanatan Dharma, but in a way it is. For the nation, it is. There are a few fundamental rights which are absolute, sacrosanct, you cannot touch it. But everything else is available for amendments and improvements and knockdown of certain laws, all these things. So, this is a very profound way of seeing life. But what has happened to us is, because of over 1,000 years of invasion, and when people who came from outside, what amazed them was, they did not come as conquerors to first. They just came as bandits, few dozens or a few hundreds. They were amazed how developed and how economically strong and so much wealth, but unprotected. Their idea of a heap of gold means there would be 10 men always standing there with arms. But here, people put a heap of gold on the street and sold. Because society was so evolved, people understood what are the laws. If I steal yours, tomorrow you will steal mine and the whole society will collapse after some time. So people were so wise and evolved. When they came, this looked like a free-for-all bonanza. They could take what they want. Wealth was not protected, women were not protected, they were everywhere. They picked up what they want and exploited it in a most horrible way, most horrific way. Today we're trying to glorify those things also, unfortunately, but in a most horrific way they did this. When the Islamic invasions happened, this happened. They did not come as invaders, they did not come as religious crusaders, they just came as bandits. But when they saw it was so easy, because they were men involved in profound music, mathematics, astronomy, astrology, all kinds of things, but there were not too many fighting men. So it was a walkover. The land, the beautiful land that this was, the rich banks of the rivers, agriculturally rich, wealth, gold, diamonds. The first nation which mined diamonds in the world is India, all right? The greatest diamond in the world is still from India, it is sitting on the British crown But they saw this is like a paradise that you can take without resistance. And they took it because they were basically nomadic people, barbarian, they did their own terrible things. Even when the British came, we must understand, it is not the United Kingdom's army which came, it's East India Company which came. It's a business which came, but they saw it so easy to take this country. They became emperors over a period of time. They came only to do business. Traders came and became emperors and rulers of this nation because we had such a profound culture where people were not in that fighting mode, but involved profoundly into these things, and laws were absolutely respected by everybody. So they thought the people who came from outside also was going to respect this, but they were in for a surprise. By the time they recovered, it was all over. So now we're where we are, wherever we are, whether you are Indian, Hindu, non-Hindu, whatever you are, Sanatana Dharma applies to everybody because these are the laws which guide the fundamental process of life. But smritis are different. Your smriti and my smriti may be different. It is different actually. What is true in Andhra Pradesh is not true in Tamil Nadu, what is true in Tamil Nadu is not true in Kerala, so close by. What is true in this western Tamil Nadu is not true in southern Tamil Nadu, because this is by memory. Our parents, our culture, what they did, either we are doing the same thing or in reaction we are doing an opposite thing. But this is a constantly changing process, not only from generation to generation, in our own life. Every few years our smritis are changing. From our memory we are changing, isn't it? Many aspects of our life. But Shruti doesn't change because this is not set by you, this is set by creation. So Sanatana Dharma means this, what governs your life, you must understand that. Once you understand that, you live a profound and beautiful life.